So here we are, starting my walk. See in the distance, that's Glasgow Sheriff Court. And we're going to have a walk along the Clydeside River walk, right along there, all the way along to the Transport Museum. Just a couple of miles away, I think. See in the distance there is Central Railway Bridge and the suspension footbridge. So I'm going to start my walk right here, and I'll take some footage along the way of significant items and areas that might be of interest. Beautiful day for it. Cold but nice and sunny. It's the way I like it. And you see the denizens of Glasgow ready again and have their court case. The wee amphitheatre here. Sit by the Riverside. Watch the world go by. Over suspension bridge again. I think that's the boat that pulls the bodies out the river, which is quite often about here. Yeah, police boat. It's a nice wee job. Plenty of graffiti about. Brings the place up, I suppose. There we go. Glasgow Central Bridge. I drive my trains across to that plenty of times. This is Glasgow Bridge. You can see the water's a bit murky, as always. Nice coffee colour. You want to swim in that, would you? you can see, there's a couple of pillars here aren't used. They used to support a wider bridge for Central Station. It was taken down 60s, I think. The bridge was narrowed. They left the supports. Pontoon for some boats. I think that's where the police boat was launched. This is right underneath big iron bridge. Massive structure, must be some weight in it. In fact, when they opened the bridge way back in the 1800s, they stacked it full of steam trains to prove to the public that the bridge could support them all. Hundreds and hundreds of tons. Amazing. Imagine trying to build something like that nowadays. It costs a fortune. These having a good feed. There's another boat, one of the bridge supports there. Of course, the building behind there wouldn't have been there back whenever it was they took the bridge down. So here we are underneath Glasgow Central Bridge. See all the supports and the ironwork. Trains above us. And this is the George V bridge. The bridges together. There's the Squinty Footbridge up ahead there. That's the Squinty Footbridge close up. As you can see in the distance, this is the new Barclays Bank main office, I think. It's only been opened a couple of years, but all these flats and offices beside it as well. There's a train going over the bridge at the Central Station. Huge big complex that. In the distance is the Kingston Bridge. I think it's the busiest bridge in Scotland anyway, as far as I know. You can see a motorcade with some dignitary of some sort coming up. No idea who it is. There's a closer up view of the Kingston Bridge. Constantly under repairs because of the concrete collapsing. And there you can see the old Renfrew ferry. But they have some gigs in that, concerts and stuff. Used to be a ferry, as far as I believe, but it's looking a bit the worse for wear now. Clean up wouldn't go amiss. I think it's still under use. There's a wee trap for all the rubbish floating down the Clyde. Let's have a closer look. There's the gangway entrance. Let's give it up. As you can see, in a very good scrub up coat of paint. Not the most salubrious of venues. I suppose it's okay inside. The other end of the ferry. So there's in the distance is the actual Squinty Bridge. It's a road bridge. Squinty because it is at an angle. The round dome building, that's the rotunda, and I don't know if you can just see it in front of the armadillo there, just a wee bit of round dome as well. That's the other end of the basically it's an underground tunnel that was used way back in the 1800s for horse and carts, and it goes right underneath the Clyde there, one side to the other, and I believe it's a kind of spiral, takes you back up into the rotunda for exiting and entering. Tunnel's still there, but it's disused now, so shut up and closed, but that would have been there before there was any bridges across the Clyde. Before any of the bridges it was all ferries and boatmen and that tunnel. Love to see under it, must be quite interesting to see. Now, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but there are actually sharks in this water. It's pretty dangerous and you don't want to swim here or feed the fish, and as you can see with this notice here, there's a warning for you, don't do it. And in the distance, as you can see, that's the armadillo and the Clyde crane. Good view from the flats there, and there's a kind of winch davit type thing, no idea what that's for. But all the views of the, there's your Kingston Bridge again. So there we see the other rotunda. Which gives you access to the tunnel under the Clyde. Foot tunnel, and horse and carts used to go underneath it, as I said. Love to see inside it. I think the one on the other side of the Clyde's offices now. One of them used to be a restaurant, maybe this one. See in the door. There's the Hydro and the Armadillo concert venues. The biggest concerts in Glasgow come to these. And the SEC Centre, Scottish Exhibition Centre distance. Next thing coming up now is the Caravan and Camping Show, which I'll be going to a wee visit of that. There we go, underneath the Clyde crane. Been in that position for years now. You can imagine the Clyde was fully these all up and down shipbuilding. This would have been a shipyard at one point, or for unloading cargo ships. Massive structure as well. Didn't have built things to last in the days. Imagine climbing these stairs up to your work every morning. Huge. Amazing. You see in the distance there's the Scottish BBC Centre. And beside that kind of curved building, that's the Science Centre. And that's the other rotunda over there. That's your Armadillo there. Not the Armadillo, the Hydro. Let's pan round. There's the other side of the crane. Huge big structure, hundreds and hundreds of tons. Over in the distance, there's STV, Scottish Television Centre. And as before, BBC Scotland. So here we see Bell's Bridge. It's another footbridge, suspension bridge. BBC there. There we go. This is under Bell's Bridge. As you can see in the distance there, two chimneys, that's the Waverley. I'll head up to that in a moment. That's your Science Centre there. And the tower there was built along with the Science Centre. Now it's meant to move with the direction of the wind, and when it was first opened the public could go up into it and feel the movement of it. But it's been a kind of disaster since day one really, plagued with problems. Never really worked, so I think they bolted it in position and closed the door, so it just stands there as a big monument kind of thing now. It's a pity, but nice to get up and see it. And a wee in the distance there, the pointy up thing, that's the latest Sconty Bridge that's just been built. We'll go up to that as well. Crime Plaza Hotel. So here you can see these are the rescue boats for the Clyde when anybody ever falls in the water. And there's a cock boat in the distance. And normally these are deployed, they're usually looking for bodies because Clyde is cold, dark, mucky. Oh, a nice place to be. There we go, there's the science centre. So here we have the famous Waverley. This is the last surviving in the world of an ocean-going paddle steamer. I think it's in here for repairs and a refit. I think they're trying to raise funds of over £100,000 to keep it going. But in the summertime you can come out for the day on this. Come out, have a meal, a few drinks on it, paddle up and down takes you out to sea I think, and back in again. I think the late Robbie Coltrane was the actor and comedian. He was heavily involved in keeping this thing going until he passed away. Beautiful. Here we have the Waverley close up. Famous chimneys. Never been on it. I think I might try it this summer. That'd be interesting. Probably get it back on the water. Well, it's on the water, but get it back going again. There's our tower. The tower that doesn't work. Beautiful height. So it's like students doing a bit of filming. So here we have another boat called the Queen Mary. I don't think it's the original Queen Mary, but never seen this boat before. Don't know what it's used for. Don't know if it's in for repairs or whatever. I think this is called the George V docks. This would have been chock-a-block back in the day with the old boats bringing in tobacco and cotton, sugar cane, you name it. This would have been where they were all brought in, all along the side of the Clyde. Sun's a bit bright there. And there we see the other side of the science centre. Quite impressive building. That was good to see the wee birdies. That's the next bridge we're going to cross over. Go over to the other side and we'll have a wee look at the other side of the Waverley. See the pipe please. So there's the back of our Waverley again. Maybe in the distance here is the tall ship. Building beside it is what we're aiming for. That's the transport museum. All the ambulances there, that's a training centre for paramedics and ambulance crew, stuff like that. As you can see, Trans Am trucking, there's obviously a big concert on in the either SEC or one of the nearby concert halls. Parked their trucks up there. So that's our next stop, up there by the tall ship. We'll get a closer look. There we see on the side of the Waverley. So here we see the tall ship, Glenlee. This has arrived at the Riverside Museum. There's that. On the side it's trams, trains, buses, cars, a few museum pieces. You can go into this boat and visit it, but it costs a few bob. Been on it before, nothing startling. Let's take a closer look. I think it was a cargo ship, bringing in sugar and tobacco and whatnot. I want to try and lift that tune. The Riverside Museum, free entry, free day out with the kids, doesn't cost you a penny. Have a walk along the Clydeside. So that's where we came from, right along the River Clyde. This is the end of the line. While we get some footage inside the museum, we're going to have a bit of lunch now and then have a wee visit to the museum. So here we are on the brand new Squinty Bridge, suspension bridge. And roars. Looks like old docks down there someplace. Some more boats down there. Wee harbour. It's looking like a puffer boat, fishing boat. There we go. Back end of the Glenlee. Good view of the River Clyde. The museum beside it.